and warm welcome to all the dignitaries, delegates, and participants joined here. We, the Industry Academia Cell and Center of Industrial Relations, Arupade Video Institute of Technology, Vinayaga Missions Research Foundation, deemed University, India, welcomes you all for a global event scheduled for a week, World Education Summit 2021 Beyond Pandemic. With the proud, we would like to accord our title sponsor of this great education summit event, Salem Infotech, and co-sponsor is Pile. Big thanks for the opportunity rendered. We have successfully completed day 1, day 2, day 3 sessions with the gracious presence of our Vice Chancellor, Dr. P.K. Sudhi, Sir of VMRF University, and Dr. Nagappan, Sir, Principal, VMKV College. And day 3 was being honored by Professor Uma Chakrabarti Sir, Principal of SAP, VMRF, followed by the sessions, and now we are marching towards day 4 sessions. It's so great, happy to welcome Dr. Sandeep Shancheti Sir, Vice Chancellor at Marwadi University, Rajkot. With this note, now I request Dr. D. Vijendra Babu Sir, Vice Principal, Part-Time Studies, Coordinator, Industry Academia Cell, and Professor of ECE AVIT to deliver the welcome note.
Good evening to all of you, those who are assembled here for day 4 of World Education Summit 2021 Beyond Pandemic. On behalf of myself and Dr. M. Lakshmi Mohan, the coordinator, I welcome you all for the day 4 event. I place my sincere thanks to Professor Sandeep Shanchetti, Vice Chancellor Provost, Marwadi University, India, for accepting our invitation immediately and gracing this occasion for this day session. And he is an eminent global leader, and we are happy that we are hosting him. I request all the participants to exploit the situation and keenly interact with Sir for our better enhancement of transformation of knowledge and to the students community and to the institutions back. We welcome you, Sir, on behalf of all of us, and I sincerely welcome all the participants today, those who have been keen interest in supporting us to making this an event a grand circle. And I thank the sponsors, Salem Infotech and Nila Infotech, for making this event a big level. And thanks to all the eminent speakers, those who have been supporting us and joining to be here joined henceforth. And I sincerely welcome our principal, Dr. G. Selva Kumar, who is a senior academician in the field of engineering and technology, the Department of Electrical and Electronics, who is having 27 years of experience, more than 27 years of experience. And as a principal, he is having more than 12 years of experience in a director. He has joined us AVIT as a principal of AVIT. I welcome Dr. G. Selva Kumar, Sir, to the family of AVIT and Vinayaga Mission Research Foundation. Sir, the session is yours. Kindly, sir.
Thank you. Very good evening to you all. I'm happy that today I joined as the principal of AVIT, and I'm doubly happy that Dr. Sandeep Shancheti Sir has chaired the session today. We both work together in SRM Institute of Science and Technology. He as Vice Chancellor and myself as the head of the institution of SRM Ramavaram campus. And he is a very eminent academician, administrator, researcher, a multifaceted personality, a good speaker. He is with us to honor this session. I welcome you, sir, on behalf of the management of Harvard Institute of Technology. And today, the world is facing the COVID pandemic. It has created the largest disruption of education systems in human history, affecting nearly 1.6 billion learners across different countries. So, closure of schools and institutions have impacted more than 94% of the world's student population. So this has brought far-reaching changes in all aspects of our lives. Social distancing and restrictive movement policies have significantly disturbed traditional educational practices. So reopening of institutions after relaxation of restriction is another challenge, with many new standard operating procedures put in place. So during this pandemic situation, now one academic year is already lost, and probably 2021-22 might be lost because of this pandemic. So the academicians and administrators are facing many challenges, and the AVIT has chosen the right topic for this World Education Summit Beyond Pandemic. And the end of this 1 week summit will find answers to those challenges. I really thank the coordinators, Dr. Vijendra Babu and Dr. Lakshmi Mohan sir, for organizing this wonderful program. And once again, I welcome today's speaker, the first speaker, Dr. Sandeep Shancheti sir, for this session. And thanks for the opportunity given to me.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words.
Thank you, sir.
Now, I am profusely elated to take an opportunity to introduce our today's guest of honor, Professor Sandeep Sancheti sir, Vice Chancellor Provost at Marwadi University, Rajkot. It's really a great honor for me to introduce you, sir. Professor Sancheti sir is a institution builder, policy planner, regular columnist on various academic policies, promoter of sports and higher education, and well known for his intellectual strategic foresight. He holds a PhD from Queen's University of Belfast, UK, MSc Engineering from DTU Delhi, and BTech from NIT Warangal. He is currently the Vice Chancellor Provost at Marwadi University, Rajkot, and also the past President of Association of Indian Universities, AIU, New Delhi. Formerly, Sir has headed 8 central government institutions of national importance, thereby setting a record of being the exclusive one on to have done. As a unique distinction, he served in a variety of institutions like state and private universities, affiliated institutions, government and deemed universities, private deemed universities, and institutions of national importance. He has worked as director at National Institute of Technology, New Delhi, and NITK. He was director in charge at NIT Trichy, NIT Calicut, and SPA Delhi, and he also served as a mentor director of newly establishments of NIT Goa, NIT Puducherry, and NIT Sikkim. He had led 2 private universities, namely SRMIST Chennai as its vice chancellor and Manipal University Jaipur as its president in a career spanning more than 37 years. He is a recipient of Commonwealth Scholarship and Fellowship under Colombo Plan and was a visiting faculty at Asian Institute of Technology, AIT, Bangkok. We are so happy to have you here, sir. The session is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Vanita, for a very kind introduction. Thanks to AVIT and Vinayaka Mission Research Foundation for this invitation, and in particular to my former colleague, Dr. G. Selvakumar, who has joined you today. Heartiest congratulations to you, Selvakumar sir, and also to Dr. Vijendra Babuji and Dr. Lakshmi Mohan, the organizers, and everyone who is present here. It's a great opportunity for me to share my thoughts with you on an important subject. I know a little bit about Vinayaka Mission group of institutions. You are doing good work, and I congratulate you, because in these changing times, it is very, very important for all of us to learn what are those changes and how we can take advantage of that, what will work for us and what will not work for us. So keeping this in focus, I think the topic which we have agreed is something about the new education policy, and within that, particularly we are talking about the ABC and its implementation, if I'm not wrong. And I will discuss of various aspects of these policies just because these are very new, these are state of the art, and it is going to redefine the education space in a big way. If I'm not wrong, I've been given 40 minutes, and therefore I presume that 35 more minutes are available now. I'll try to finish it by 5:45 or maybe 5:40, so that in the end, 5 minutes of Q&A can be there in case you have something. But in case you cannot ask a question or I'm unable to answer your question, note down my email address, which is provost@marwadiuniversity.ac.in, and you can write to me. I'll try to help you. I try to give you my answer in case the question reaches me. So with this, I will start now and try to take you through what we call ABC. I hope most of you are already familiar with the name ABC. So, but I'll try to explain to you certain finer aspects of that, and then of course the implementation aspects. But before we go into ABC, why ABC? I think that would be known by some of the aspirations which we have drawn for ourselves in what we call as the new education policy. So I'll explain you a little bit about new education policy in 10 minutes or 15 minutes, and then go to ABC. Now I'm going to go full screen now, and I hope things will be clear to you. And my dear friends, first we talk about what we call the new education policy itself. And as you can see in this particular case, that the new education policy has a lot of general aspects which are important for us. It has a focus on reforms and transformation. So ABC is a scheme which will transform the education world. When I say transformation, it basically means it will change it upside down. It will change the way we are dealing with our students today. It will be changed by almost 180 degree, exactly opposite in phase, you can say. It's a very well researched policy, and that's why I'm saying that it's a consultative process full of dreams, because it is going to deal with many big aspirations. One of the aspiration is 10,000 institutions should have the power of degree awarding. And remember that in 74 years, we have made less than 1,000 institutions with the power of degree awarding. And all of a sudden, we want to add 9,000 more in next 15 years. So it's a very big dream we are carrying. It will propel, the NEP will propel us for next 15, 20 years. NEP will continue the existing policies of access, equity, quality, accountability, and transparency, which are very important for anything, but education also. But I'm sure and I'm keen that the last three attributes, speed, efficiency, and diversity, should also be embedded and should also be followed. If we do not change with right speed, with right efficiency, we'll be wasting either money or time or both, and in the end, will not have the competitive edge. Another thing which we need is diversity. IITs can be IITs, but they can do many other things. IIMs can be IIMs, they can do many other things. So is NLU, so is any other institution. So some of the institutions to which you belong or I belong in Marwadi University or SRM IST or Vinayaka Mission, we are all multidisciplinarity is followed there, and therefore we are in a position of advantage. And now other top institutions are also changing. Some other general aspects are, we want to increase the gross enrollment ratio to 50%, which is hovering around 27%. Once again, we are doubling this in next 15 years. What you have done in 74 years has to be doubled in 15 years. We have to give more budget. That's what government says, but we have not seen much of it in the last budget. Hopefully, government will be in a good position after pandemic to do all that, to give us a much bigger chunk of money. There'll be an impetus on research by this National Research Foundation, which is being created. The education policy very correctly talks about seamless connectivity between KG to PG. That's an important thing. Languages and other things become part of that. Blended teaching learning will be very, very important. By the way, only 50 days back, I was also part of a committee which submitted the report on the blended teaching learning. There was a lot of reactions for that. It is hosted on that as a reference paper or consultative paper. I'll request all of you to go through that. That's important. Internships will become much more stronger, and so would be the industry connect will become stronger. FDPs is what we are doing, very important. And there'll be a new regulatory framework called HEP. This is Higher Education Commission of India. Okay. So HESI will be the new framework. I'm not going to describe all these things to you because you can read it and you can find out more about it. Coming to some academic aspects, I can very well say that the new education policy is now trying to support what we call student centricity or education 4.0. As you know, education 1.0 was the education delivered to all of us through Gurukul arrangement. Education 2.0, we can call it something like with the advent of books and printing presses. And education 3.0 is something like internet and computers and so on and so forth. And education 4.0 is not necessarily any specific technology, but it is the amalgamation of technologies, everything put together what we have till now, and making it student centric. That means they learn what they want to learn rather than we teach them what we want to teach. So it will be the taker's market, it will be learner centric, and therefore learnability will become important. New education policy also helps to go at a faster track, slower track, and this aspect is very well covered in the ABC scheme of things, which I'm going to explain to you. It also talks about in terms of blending, mixing the online and ODL and various other modes which are there. It also talks about the National Educational Technology Framework, NETF, which is very, very important because without technology, many of the goals, whether it is the GER 50% or 10,000 institutions become degree award holding, or maybe blended learning. Nothing will be realized if technology is not driven. So there will be a core group which will be driving technology. Multidisciplinary approach we already talked about, and there will be credits which will be mixed between skills and vocational and other courses with the general degrees. Right now we have separate BWalk. We don't want all that. We want anything which is part of education to be counted towards education and also counted towards degree. That is the framework which we generally can say we are talking about. Okay. So in this case, we can say that there are lots of academic aspects which are there. Another thing you can say is the internationalization of education, diverse and experiences, and then the flexibility to the learner will be very, very important, that they can learn things differently. And I'll explain this point once again in the ABC itself. And when we go to the next one here, the last thing which I'm presenting to you on the academic aspects, it will be the schemes will have to be multiple entry and multiple exit. Once again, ABC covers that very, very nicely. I'll explain that. Active promotion of mother tongue and other languages is there. Amalgamation and importance to arts and humanities subjects once again is shown. NTA, one single test after 12th would be a single entry point to all programs, can be a very good thing, especially for the young students will not be stressed, and they'll be able to, more than stress, they'll be able to decide the entry based on a single performance or a single similar performance compared to appearing in 10 tests and then getting confused. Similarly, support for adult or mature learners will be there. Mature means 25 to 75 age group. When you are working, you'll have to learn and unlearn so many things and relearn so many things. That will happen. So there'll be a provision for that in the new academic policy. Examinations will go under major reforms. Some of them are listed here. I may explain about it a little later. And then finally, all these can be grouped together. And once it is grouped together, what comes out as a new thing called for education delivery is ABC, Academic Bank of Credit. It had an earlier different name, NACB, National Academic Credit Bank, NACB. But once the announcement came through NEP, it was called as ABC, and very rightly, because it's a very catchy name. And it has a potential to deliver education anytime, anywhere, any mode, any language, any number of times, with potential to reduction of cost and variety of combinations of degrees. So any variable which you want to play with in your education or your kids' education, you can possibly do it through what we call ABC. So I'm going to explain you these points maybe in next few slides. So if I give you and just let's say 20 seconds to write down what are the transformations you would want as a student. Suppose you are a student today of 18 years of old and coming to higher education. What would be one transformation you would want? Please write it for yourself or imagine it yourself. Okay. And let us see if those imaginations match with the imaginations I have put here. I have not captured all the points. I can put several points, but I've captured some important points. So I'll let you decide which will be the thing you would want from your institution if you are an 18-year-old and getting into higher education. And so my answer to those some of those points would be, I should be able to pick my teachers and timings of my classes. So I'm able to control the quality because I am picking the right teacher, the teacher whom I like, whose language, style, or maybe examples, everything is good, who knows better pedagogy, who's student friendly. All that I can possibly say that this is what I would like to do with my teacher's selection. Okay, so this is how we can do that. And then the second point, and therefore it gives you flexibility and quality both. The second point is I should be able to frame my own courses to the extent possible based on the need, what I want to study, or based on my interest. I may be doing an advanced course in a class, I may be doing an average course, or I may be doing an introductory course, depends how much deeper I want to go into that particular direction. All of us, when we come to a stream of education, within the stream, there are many other streams. So sometimes we decide I'm going to go to this side or that side. And therefore, I would say that this will be something very, very important. So frame my own courses. Very important, and it's a very top level. Design your own degrees. You can design your own degrees. I don't want BTech. I don't want BA. I don't want BCom. I want something, or I want something more open. Possibly I can do. And if that can be done, it defines the student centricity at the highest level. The end point is your degree. And the degree, if it can be defined by you, I think that is a dream which a student will always try to do it. Study through any mode is important. I can do it distance, I can do it through online, I can do it face to face, I can do it virtual, I can do it through flipped, I can do it virtual labs, I can do it in very many ways. I can go to industry and do my course in the industry because there can be a lot of practical learning. So many things are there. So study through any mode is important. And then learning or examinations on demand. Like I eat food when I want to eat. I dress in a certain way when I want to go outside or to institution or to a party. So based on the occasion, based on the need, based on the readiness, you do certain things. I think teaching, learning, and examinations are important part of academic life, and academic itself is very important. Education is very important. So why not, if you have choice in everything which you do, which film you want to see, which vehicle you want to drive, which house you want to live, which college you want to take admission, then why not the freedom for examination also? So these are some of the potential transformations one would want as a student. They may not take all, but something like that. Now, if I had to have the answer for all these kind of things, the answer would be ABC, and therefore the need of ABC. ABC will be the key driver for the change, or maybe the drivers for the change for ABC are listed here. That is, we want to break the silos-based approach. We already had fragmented higher education. We lacked multidisciplinarity. We didn't like electrical, didn't like electronics, electronics possibly didn't like computers, computers didn't like IT, because they'll say, no, sir, this degree is different than this. Where is the origin? And broadly, there's a lot of commonality. I'm saying about the faculty selections, I'm saying about the students' branch selection. They don't see eye to eye very easily. And that's why there is a challenge which is there. And again, a student has no autonomy at all, but we sometimes find even institutions and teachers also have limited autonomy. So this ABC will provide the high degree of student autonomy. We can always change the educational tracks if we so wish in this particular case. That's very, very important. I'll give you an example of this maybe a little later. And then finally, we can also satisfy the quest for lifelong learning or develop new knowledge or whatever it is. So these are some drivers for the change which are there. So let's see what is ABC. Till now, I have kept it under wrap. I'm not explaining the points to you. I'll explain the points to you now, that what is ABC. ABC, this is a work done by a committee. I was fortunate to be part of that. It's our 2.5 years of work. Some of the learned people like Professor Tyagarajan from Chennai itself was also part of it. We all work together, and then we are given it a shape. So here you can see a very generic, broad definition of what we call ABC, which we have given here. As you can say, it is an academic service. ABC is a service mechanism, okay, as an online digital virtual entity managed by UGC or some body of MOE, and it is to facilitate a student to become academic account holders and paving way for seamless student mobility between degree granting higher education institutions through formal credit recognition, credit accumulation, credit transfer, credit redemption to promote distributed and flexible teaching learning. So it is a very broad definition. Try to go into the deeper meaning. You'll probably understand that. And again, the flexibility, I have told you about certain flexibility. So change various combinations, courses, programs, disciplines, leading to something called degree, diploma, certificate, or even not leading to anything but only credits, offering multiple entry, multiple exit. All these things under the framework of this will be possible, and also removing the rigid curricular boundaries that you cannot take this, you cannot take that, and all that. And therefore, there'll be new possibilities of lifelong learning. So ultimately, you can say it would help deliver student-centric education, which we are very interested in. And then credits will be the new currency for the higher educations. That's what is being said in that particular thing. So I come to the building block of ABC. Now, please pay attention to this, and you'll probably understand certain various important aspects of this particular policy. One of them, the first one, I'm not going to explain it. I'll keep this as an answer at the last of this slide. But let me go through some of these answers. Number one, any subject combinations you can take. You can mix and match electronics with music, with economics, or maybe with physical education, and you can still get a degree. That is what any subject combination would basically mean. And these subject combinations need not be mixed right in first year or second year, third year. It can be mixed anywhere depending upon their availability in your institution or other institution. And this can be done as long as they become part of ABC scheme. So I'll explain to that point to you in terms of implementation. The second one would be, we'll be merging all the regular distance online and virtual modes. That distinction will go away. The next one would be, we'll convert credits into degrees and diplomas. Otherwise, we'll retain the credits as credits only, because a lot of big companies today are taking you based on your knowledge and credits. They don't want your degrees. Many students who might not have completed education are already working in top industries called Google and Microsoft and all that. They write codes, they do information security and so on and so forth. Even in India, TCS and Infosys to some extent have started taking those who is who, very good people without their degrees also. You can simultaneously together study in many institutions within the nation or outside the nation or between the two international and national institutions also. And ultimately, it will make you lifelong learning enabler. These points maybe I've explained you. I'll come to the Bachelor of Liberal Education a little later. Now look at the comments which I'm giving at the end of these blocks. And beneath these blocks, these comments, if you try to read it, in each of these blocks, I'm saying one comment. Number one, when we change subjects, the notion of specialization is broken and it becomes interdisciplinary. Number two, when we mix the modes, then it becomes a flexible education or hybrid education or blended education, as we are saying. You can blend anything you want. And recently UGC has said, in addition to MOOC, you can do the other blending also. Blending has to be not to be decided necessarily by the institution or the teacher, even it can be decided by the student to some extent. Okay, so we'll come to those nitty-gritty a little later. When you make the lifelong learning enabler, you can go fast, you can go slow, you can do multiple entry and multiple exit, and the notion of time of education is broken. When you have the national and international institutions in the green block, as you are seeing, the notion of physical campus or location is broken, that you have to be in Stanford if you want to study from Stanford. No, you don't have to be in Chennai if you have to study in Vinayaka Mission. No, you can be anywhere, but you can still do your degree from Vinayaka Mission or Marwadi University. You can convert the credits into degrees and diploma or just retain the credits as credits. So notion of educational currency is changed. And pay attention to this blue block, Bachelor of Liberal Education. What it basically means, I may take 5 subjects from electronics, 5 from management, 5 from arts, 5 from hotel management, 5 from law, 5 from something else, and ultimately I'll have, let's say, 50, 60 credits, and I'm ready for a degree or diploma of some kind. Now, wherever I'll go, they'll say, oh, no, you're not done enough of engineering. Other one will say, you're not done enough of law. Third one will say, you're not done enough of languages. So which degree should they give me? In that case, they'll give me a degree called Bachelor of Liberal Education. That's very important, that if I make a curious mix or a mix which I like, which is not a standard degree, then I'll be eligible for Bachelor of Liberal Education. I have to justify why I took music with electronics with, let's say, economics. And then if I'm good at all of them, a potential employer will always give me a job. And that is the beauty of it, that Bachelor of Liberal Education will come. Like that, there can be more degrees also, we don't know, but this is just a seeding which we have done in the policy document. So if you have understood that block, you'll probably understand a little bit about ABC objectives. These are the way we have given in our report, and that's why I put them. Slide may be slightly crowded, but don't read all. It's not required to be. Number one, ABC will make learning student-centric, which we know. Number two, it will allow any course combination, which I have explained to you. Number three, rather than ready-made degrees, it will be tailor-made degrees according to your choice. That's another thing. Next one will be, it will be multiple entry, multiple exit, because after first year, I may have to do a job because my family needs that. And then I can go. So for a 4-year degree, I can take 8, 10 years, keep going back, keep earning something, again, invest in education, again, go back and so on and so forth. So multiple entry, multiple exit. The teaching learning can happen in distributed and blended manner, which I've already explained to you. It will make you learn anytime you want at age of 60, 70, 50, whatever you want, because otherwise you cannot go and sit in the class very easily after age of 25, 30, because you become very senior, you are expected to earn, you have a family, and there are different mechanisms for classroom activities. And finally, the most important point here is you might choose to begin with an engineering program when you're doing your degree, but somehow you're not liked it. Maybe your parents forced you. You switch to management program in second year, and once again you find that you don't like it and you are very good in performing arts. So in third year you shift to performing arts or BA. By the time what happens is you lost your first year, second year, money, time, everything. But in ABC scheme, that may not be necessary. In ABC scheme, you can save more or less all those years, first year, second year. You may still get a degree called graduation with whatever you want to learn. And therefore, you can change the direction, you can change different domains very easily, which does not happen. In fact, if I give you an example, you'll be surprised that ABC is something like this. If you see this pen, which I'm showing you here right now, you enter at the pen or this pipe at one point, and then you make an exit at another point after 3 or 4 years, depending upon your BA degree or BTech degree. Now, if you do not make an exit, you are finished in the process or in the pipe or in the channel, because you have not passed all the subjects, and someone will fail you and you will not get a degree. Now, this will not be the case. Now, this is a conventional thing. Either you get 0 or you get 1 in the current system. But in the new system under ABC, this pipe will become a slotted pipe. There will be a lot of holes. This pipe will become leaky pipe. This pipe can be something like flute. And depending upon which hole you block or which hole you let the air come out, in which direction the music and notes can be changed. And therefore, you can play what you want with the same pipe. So this pipe will be something like a flute, and you can enjoy it the way you like. You may let the air exit from here or let the student exit from here, but enter from somewhere else. Again, exit from somewhere else, again, enter from somewhere else. That means you can change directions, you can change the speed, you can change the specializations also, and you can learn what you want to learn rather than an institution saying that I will teach you what I want to teach. See, the moment as first year student comes to us, we give them the entire 4-year scheme, which is approved by our academic council. And the poor guy has to learn all that for next 4 years, whether it is relevant or not, whether it is changed or not, whether he likes or not. Now, in this scheme, everything can change. That's the beauty of this ABC. So this is the objective of ABC. Some definitions which are there. Here, the clarity we wanted to bring out in terms of implementation is a course means one subject only, and a program means the entire program. Like BTech will be one program, a course may be one subject, for which there may be 3 or 4 credits which are there. And the institutions which can participate in ABC scheme will be the ones which are selected by UGC under a criteria. But to begin with, it is likely to be institutions which are either A and above in terms of NAC accreditation or A plus and above. That discussion is with the implementing authorities, but as a committee, we have suggested A and above. So large number of institutions will be participating. And why we have done that? One, we could not have opened the floodgates that 1,000 institutions are doing, because it will be difficult challenge to control them. And number two, we wanted to ensure that the quality is there. Unlike distance education, where opening the floodgates diluted the education, we don't want to do anything which will dilute the education. And therefore, there is a controlled experiment which is going to happen. And therefore, a specified number of institutions or members of institutions will be part of ABC. ABC will obviously follow, the name itself says credits. So credit will be the key aspect, and the credits will have to be standardized. Once again, the standardized credits are 1 hour for one theory per week, 1 theory hour per week will be 1 credit, and 2 hours, 2 laboratory hours per week would be 1 credit. Many of you know about that. Some of the institutions don't follow, so we have said that something like this has to be done. Ultimately, we'll deal with credit definitions, credit awards, credit accumulations, credit recognitions, credit redemption, credit transfer, anything called credit, we will be doing it. And as I said, credit will be the new currency of education, not the degree diploma, nothing else. Not even the institution, I would say. Credit, you will say, I have earned 20 credits in information security, and a company which is looking for a person in information security can look at me, and I'll do the justice to the job. Something like that you can say. You don't have to worry too much about where from and how much you have done and all that, because you can do it from 5 different places which are there. Suppose you had a dream to go to IIT, but you could not go. Doesn't matter. You may still do 1 or 2 courses under ABC scheme from the IIT, because those will be available. And in that case, you will be able to do such things from there. So it will be easy. So ABC will change many things which are there. It will integrate multiple disciplines which are currently separated. So this leaky kind of a structure going anywhere, coming from anywhere, will make the connections between them. There will be significant autonomy to the students by providing choices of courses, program of studies, curriculum, and various other options which are there. And I already explained you the concept of leaky pipe or flute kind thing, which will be the new arrangement which is there. I hope you understand that. If you have some questions on that, please keep writing it, and then I'll let you know. Academic institution eligibility, I'm not going to explain everything here. It will be based on the accreditation status, which will be granted. HEI below a certain level at any point of time. If today I'm A, let's say, and tomorrow I'm below A, then from that point of time, I'll cease to be existing in the ABC scheme, is what we have defined. Admissions will be not necessarily a separate stream. All normal streams, normal activities which are doing currently in education will continue. But wherever you want to offer ABC seats, you can create 20% supernumerary seats in each subject or each course kind of a thing. And then you can have a mechanism how to let the students apply and enter, take admission in that course. So IITs will also have 20% supernumerary seats in every small course which they are doing if they wish. And many other students from other institutions can take IIT courses. So would be between us. So that will be the beauty, that you will also get exposure to good top institutions. ABC will also require a special infrastructure like e-resources, virtual classroom, audiovisual aids, studios, bandwidths, internet connectivity, and support for various modes of ODL, online, and other things which are there for all theory, practical training, and examination related things. And ultimately, ABC will be hosted through a website on the given institution. Suppose Vinayaka Mission wants to do it, they will host a website on their page or a page on their website for ABC, where all ABC related information will be available. So that's for the institution. Some of the core functions, I already told you about the core functions. It will maintain the repository. It will be a repository of all the credits like bank. That's why the name bank has been given. Like we deposit money in bank. Institutions, if I have done my credits from Vinayaka Mission, they will give me credits and they'll deposit my credits in the and that bank which is there, academic credit bank. And that's how the core functions will happen. The bank will help you open account, close account, validation of account, credit verification. All that will be happening both for institution as well as for the students. Also, it will happen. And of course, you can bring the credits from what you call the SWAYAM and NPTEL and virtual lab and various other forums can also be coming. And finally, you can also say that the ABC scheme will also have some regulations in respect of credit validity. Credits cannot be valid infinitely whole lifetime. And therefore, credits validity, we have proposed it to be 7 years, which are there. We expect that ABC will encompass all the educational programs under its purview, but UGC may like to take approval from AICT or medical or dental or law councils to make sure that they are also on the same page. So hopefully that process will also happen. And finally, I already explained to you about the fundamental of Bachelor of Liberal Education. So these are some of the important functions which are there. The organizational structure would be something like NAD, if you have heard of National Academic Depository, where your credits are deposited, your degrees are deposited, all examination COEs are requested and required to deposit all the mark sheets and degrees, etc. in that. Similarly, there will be a special purpose vehicle created for Academic Bank of Credit, which will be a virtual digital storehouse for all these records. So NAD like a new body will come, and ABC will provide variety of services, which I have already told you. However, ABC will not by itself award a degree. Degree awarding power will remain with the universities only. And therefore, ABC is not taking away anything from the universities, let me tell you. Some of the universities may have a fear what will happen if ABC comes. No, they will remain in business because all degree awarding will happen through ABC. Only thing ABC is telling is you change, you allow the student centricity and mixing up of many things which are there. So it will be a very unique solution which will be there, and they can do many other components related to UG, PG or PhD programs. And you can say that they can do it at different speed, different times, different modes, different languages, all that can happen. So ABC will provide each student a unique facility to open a bank account, and then there will be some standard operating procedures for that also will happen. In terms of further implementation, there will be certain points, but the important point is that suppose you decide that after doing all those courses from 10 different institutions, you want a degree from Vinayak Mission, okay, from AVIT. When you want such a degree, then in that case, you'll have to make sure that 30% of the courses are done from AVIT. It is essential. This is what we have said. That is because you have to learn many things beyond the courses also, the culture, the teamwork, various other things which are there, some of the practice things, some of the projects and dissertations, sometimes will be required to be done in a different mode. And therefore, we have said, from whichever institution you want a degree, you will need to do 30% of the courses from there. By that, what I mean is, I may do one course from IIT and I cannot go to IIT Madras and tell me that you give me a degree. No, that cannot happen. So some rules have been made in that respect. Ultimately, you can say that you can move between intra and inter institutions, inter and intra department courses, and so on and so forth. And ultimately, you will satisfy yourself in terms of what you want to learn rather than what they want to do in terms of teaching you. So ABC is a lot of information, a lot of freedom, and there are a lot of other points which are there. Some of the important points I've told you. Another important point is once you have redeemed a credit, you cannot recover it. It's lost. And that means once you have used some credit for award of degree, let's say language, English language, now you go to the next degree and again some language thing is required, you cannot use the same credits. In that case, you'll have to earn the credits again. So once used, it's an irrevocable process which is there. And there are so many other things which are there in terms of awards and various other things which are there, which are the tracks which you can possibly follow. The best thing about ABC is you can go on fast track or slow track. And that is that I can do a 4-year degree in 3 years. Right now, we've suggested 3.5 years, but otherwise you can do it in 3 years also. And a 4-year degree can be done in 6 years. I'm a slow learner. I'll do it in 6 years without failing in any time, any subject. I'm a fast learner. I'll do advanced courses and I'll get a degree in 3.5 years also. All that is possible under ABC. And then the best thing is the fees will have to be changed. The course fee will not be course fee. It will be a credit fee. You'll be charged based on what credits you have registered for and what credits you want to earn and so on and so forth. So there'll be lots of changes in terms of attendance and the fee and the registrations and the degrees and all that. And that will be decided by the students themselves. Ultimately, I'm coming to last 1 or 2 slides. ABC will also be monitored in terms of its quality, because without quality control, it will again go haywire like some of the other cousins which had maybe virtual education, distance education suffered. So like we have in the internal quality assurance cell in our normal functioning or CQC in distance or other modes, we will also have a similar one or maybe a new one for ABC monitoring, which is there. It will also monitor various aspects of quality, feedback, academic staff, their training, all those things will be done. It will also make sure that the institutions which are delivering those are properly affiliated and quality controlled. And then, of course, there'll be annual reports and details how a scheme is progressing, and it will be reviewed by UGC or somebody. And also, there'll be a grievance redressal mechanism. If things go wrong, because they are floating between many institutions, if things go wrong, who will sort it out? So grievance redressal mechanism also would be there. So there are many such aspects which are there, my dear friends. I hope you understand that all practical aspects which are required to be covered for delivering ABC from the coming academic year are already there. I'm hopeful that it will be started in this academic year itself. One can expect early announcements from UGC. UGC has already hosted a lot of information which I've talked to you on their website. And with that, I'd like to come to the close, and the summary of some of the key advantages is that you can change your specializations or institutions or even teachers whenever you want. generally speaking, at the end of the semester, but you can keep changing. You can make your own bouquet from the flowers, basically from the courses. You can make your degrees. You can get degrees, certificates, diplomas, degrees from the same credits which you want. You can do advanced and medium level courses or introductory level courses. You can combine skill and laboratory and hands-on courses. You can establishing equivalences will be less challenging, which is right now very challenging. As AIU, we have done those jobs, so we know that it's very, very difficult for us. Now it will be only credits mapping rather than time matching and this matching and all that. It will be very nice. And then you will be open to new nature of degrees like BWalk came a few years back. Hopefully BLE, Bachelor of Liberal Education, will come now, and there'll be some more. And as I already explained to you, this degree is very, ABC scheme is very well suited for fast learners. They gain heavily by saving time and doing advanced courses. This is very suitable for the slow learners that they don't fail and they have controlled destiny or education. And therefore, you can say if the most fast and the slowest ones are handled by this scheme carefully, then everything in the middle can also be handled very carefully. So this is a summary or some of the advantage of ABC. In conclusion, I'd like to say ABC will drive and improve the quality and diversity. ABC will provide the students also the autonomy. ABC will need a huge support of technology without which it cannot be delivered. And ultimately, ABC will give us an education which will be anytime, anywhere, any mode, any language, any speed, in many specializations. That is the feature it will give. And that means it will have a bandwidth which is very, very large, almost from minus infinite to plus infinite. And last point, this scheme will be covered under the General Education Council under the HESI of the new governing proposition which NEP has given, or the control which will have rather than UGC or AICT, but it is yet to happen. So with this, I'd like to conclude, my dear friends. If you have any questions or any suggestions, please feel free to ask me. You should not be under any dilemma that this scheme is going to change the world entirely. No, it will take its own sweet time, but we expect that initially around 10-20% students will be positively impacted, and slowly as the scheme progresses and we redefine it and refine it, more changes will happen. So with that, I'd like to close. Thank you so much. But once again, I'm open to the Q&A. Professor Vijendra Babuji, you can take the control and let me know if there are any questions.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. It was an excellent session starting from NEP and implementation. Wonderful session, sir. We are honored to hoist you for day 4 of World Education Summit 21. There are a few questions have been put in this chat box. Vanita, I think you can able to.
Yes, sir, definitely, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for giving your wonderful insights. With your permission, let me share the questions which is being posted in the chat box.
Sure.
Sir, first question, sir, by Sivanandam, sir. Sir, whether Bachelor of Liberal Education will have scope in placement? Could you please mention a few sector which supports this course?
Okay. This is not to support the placement or avoid the placement. This is to support the student. A student should tell, I have learned these subjects because these subjects will be useful for this particular job. I have given you example of electronics and music. Everything in music happens from the electronics. But once a student studies music, he doesn't do much on electronics. Suppose he does, he'll be much more knowledgeable because all the video or movies or music is going electronic. So why not music with electronics can be a good combination. He will be very fit person than a music alone person in the music industry. So please understand, it is not that we are selling degrees. The importance of degree is going to be diluted now. Degree is not going to be the currency of education. It will be the knowledge or the credits. He will say, I have done 20 credits in music and 15 credits in electronics, and I'm very good in both of them as a combination, and therefore this industry should take me, like that. Now we are not selling. Suppose what happens, you give me a BTech degree, do I become sellable? Not necessarily, unless I have the knowledge. So in this case, the knowledge was fixed by institution that I have given you a mechanical or civil or electrical degree, In the new case under ABC, the knowledge will not be fixed. Knowledge will be decided by the students. See, one more example why it will be good for placement is, I start my engineering, let's say in a given year, and after 4 years or 5 years, I graduate. And 1 year before that, you fix the syllabus and the scheme, because every year you cannot change it. So after 6 years, the result comes that I'm trying to seek a job out of that scheme which was started 6 years back. Now in ABC, because the flexibility is there, even in my pre-final and final year, I can change many things, and I can go in a direction in which the jobs are there, in which the placements are there, in which something more can be done, rather than I'm frozen in civil or mechanical or some stream of engineering. And therefore, you can say that ABC's degree has nothing to do with the placement. The placement is something which a student has to control, and then it will be helping them. Those who cannot understand that how much should I do, what I should do, I think they will still go with the standard prescription of doing a standard degree. No one is taking away the standard degree anyway. If you are not sure, confused, you can go with the standard path. It's something like eating in a thali, given a standard thali which is given to you as a food in a restaurant, or going for an a la carte and choosing and picking the things which you want to eat. So that is the kind of difference this will have. I hope I made my point clear.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Shall I go ahead with a few more questions, sir?
Yes, I'm very comfortable. As long as you have time, I have time.
Thank you so much, sir. In the current scenario, I mean, with the current second wave and talks about third wave too, when probably we would be able to implement NEP 2020 fully in all educational level?
No, I wouldn't say I will wait for any historical event to start or finish for NEP. NEP's implementation has started for me from day one. People like me have understood that this is a new policy which is going to come. So we have already started putting trace of it in our education. For example, blending. Now blending allows a huge variety to do. I can do a lot of labs through virtual things. It is beneficial. It saves my cost, saves my time. I will individually experiment. I cannot damage the equipment. I'll have to prepare well to do the experiment. And I can do the experiment and costly equipment also, even if it is not there in my institution. So why would not I blend my labs with the virtual labs? I will always do, and we started doing it in SRM. You can say Selva Kumarji must be aware of that. We have started doing in other institutions. So please, for God's sake, don't wait for something to start and something to end. That start and stop has to be defined by us. We are autonomous. And not only we as vice chancellors or directors or principals or deans, it is the teachers, and not only teachers, it's also the student. A student can say, I want to start my education on this day. I want to finish on this day. I want to take examination on this day. I think a student's choice must be respected like we do for everything else in their life. Okay, so I hope you will understand what I'm saying. NEP's implementation indirectly has already started, that you have started doing a lot of blending, using a lot of technology. And once you started doing that, now the ABC will also get implemented. I hope ABC will be available to you in July. My fingers are crossed, but I still hope ABC will be available because UGC has cleared it from its side. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So last question, sir. Will there be any benefit to teachers in view of ABC?
Okay, right now what happens, a new teacher joins, there are some leftover subjects which are there, and you assign those subjects to that teacher because he has just joined in the end and there is no choice. The teachers are also not getting the variety in terms of what they want. We need to be teacher centric also. And in teacher centricity, again, ABC helps. Rather than making the teachers against the courses, I will make the courses against the teacher. In a given semester, I will change something. Again, I'll change fast because the technology helps me. ABC allows me that. Right now, it is not available in a standard thing. The same course continues whether a teacher is available or not. You cannot change anything. In ABC, you can always do that. So to that extent, it will be beneficial. But why it will be more beneficial? Tell me what is a broad definition for teacher. A teacher is not a teacher who has done a degree called PhD or master's at the age of 25, 27 and becomes a teacher. A teacher who is constantly learning. A teacher would be called as a teacher if he is himself or herself a student till he is teaching. I had to read a lot of things even today if I have to teach, and many of you must be doing it, I'm pretty sure. A teacher is primarily a student, maybe a slightly advanced student, and therefore this student will also be benefited. What if I learn something very good from a Stanford, Harvard, Oxford teacher for my subject? I look at their samples, examinations, or whatever. I use their notes or I use their presentations for a flipped classroom. Yes, so ABC allows all that, and therefore a teacher will also be immensely be benefited. Yes, that's my answer.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your patience, and thank you so much for addressing all the queries. And with your, I request all the dignitaries and participants to turn on your videos for a virtual photo session.
Participants, kindly unmute your video. I welcome Professor Agnes Type from Paris, France, for joining us. Welcome, Agnes Type.
Oh,
Welcome.
bonjour.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sandeep sir.
Thank you, Madam Vanita. Thank you, Vijendra Babuji. Thank you, Selva Kumar Saab, and everyone.
Thank you.
Very nice to meet you, and hope to catch up with you sometime soon again. All the best. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. 1 second, sir. 1 second, sir. Kindly stay connected, sir. Now I request Dr. G. Selvakumar, sir, our principal, AVIT, VMRF DU, to honor Sandeep, sir. Karthikeyan, sir. Please share the screen. Yes. Principal, sir, please do the
Love and
honors.
appreciation. Yes, yes, ma'am. As a token of love and appreciation, please accept our EA memento, sir.
Thank you, Selva Kumar Saab. Appreciate that. Thank you for this opportunity. Very nice.
Karthikeyan, have you shared it? Yeah, shared it. We can
Sandeep
able to
sir,
see it.
this is,
Okay.
this is Lakshmi Mohan
Thank you.
Prasad.
Thank you.
Shall
Thank you.
meet you
Bye-bye.
in Taj
Thank you, sir.
DPSC meeting.
See you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your time and presence. Thank you, sir.
Most welcome.
Thank you,
Shall
sir.
we?
Yes, madam. Yes, madam. I one more occasions. I welcome Dr. Rania from Greece, Rania Lampo, for joining with us. Thank you, Rania. Welcome.
Welcome, Dr. Agnesh and Dr. Rania. Welcome you both. Great honor for us.
Welcome, Rania ma'am. Welcome, Agnes, sir. Now I take this opportunity to welcome and introduce Professor Agnes Tybe, Academic Director, Artificial Intelligence, Professor of Transformation, EM Normadia Business School, Paris, Forex TED speaker, MIT Aleb, YouTube creator, globally recognized corporate consultant, and scientific advisor at agnestype.com, provides a descriptive type method and tools to hyper-performance, academic director on artificial intelligence, and professor of transformation at EM Normadia Business School, Paris, led of Silicon Valley, founded Transformative Technology Community. At the renowned MIT, he established research on pervasive cities for sustainable well-being. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation and for your gracious presence, sir. The session is yours. Welcome.
Perfect. Glad to be here. And especially, I think you do very essential work. One thing that I always say to everybody, if pandemic hits and there are some businesses that are going out of their business, education is not is not going to go out of the business, because education is the fundament how we evolve. And this is what I was experiencing during this last 1.5 years. So therefore, I think moving ahead and seeing the previous presenter saying how the whole educational transformations can take place, it was so pleasurable to see that, because you saw my title is Professor of Transformation, and I'm working in education, and I'm using tools, technology-driven tools like artificial intelligence for doing that. So I'm going to share you how they intertwine these two components, the human intelligence and artificial intelligence, to facilitate the educational experience and achieve hyper-performance. What I call hyper-performance is when we remove unnecessary barriers so that people actually get in their natural essence of learning the best. So let me share my screen, and I'm going to do it by sharing the PowerPoint. And then there will be some videos. There will be some videos during my presentation. And in case some of the videos have sound, and if there is no sound, please let me know. Because if there is no sound, I will be just talking over the video to explain what it is. But if there is a sound, then it's all good. So let's start. As I said, how we intertwine human intelligence with artificial intelligence, the greatest emerging technology for the hyper performance, and how that whole concept could be facilitating our educational experience. So number one, I usually start with people that have contributed a huge acceleration of how we use technologies and how technologies can help us live better, run your organizations better, and also do your education better. So this is one of them, Bill Gates. And then I say, well, okay, huge impact with democratizing computers and bringing computers in every home. That was the mission of the Microsoft from the very beginning. So the next one, Apple and Steve Jobs, pretty much bringing the whole idea of computers in our hands, in our handheld devices like smartphones. A huge revolution already more than 15 years ago, has transformed the way how students are interacting with the class materials, how they access information, knowledge, and so forth, how they learn through the different kind of devices. And then usually when I ask them, people list this person as a next, not specifically related currently with the education, but with the general perspective, how technology is transforming everything, how we humans exist, how we humans evolve, and how we humans can use technology to achieve much greater results in multiple domains. And then usually when I continue, then I ask, okay, and whom do we miss on this slide? And then people start to mention some other names like Mark Zuckerberg, possibly, maybe some other great people bringing value to the societies. But I would say you. And when I say you, I mean students, the students who are currently eager to learn and change the world for better. I think these are the places for you, because if you look back to those people listed above, it's arbitrary list. Don't take it as a very fundamental one, just to give some examples. You can be the same thing. You can be the same, you can achieve the same great results. It's just how you leverage technology. Why technology? Because technology is the greatest amplifier that we currently have. And that's accessible, and you can do many things with it to improve various contexts, including education. So let's watch the progression that the last person on the previous list, Elon Musk, already are trying to intertwine very physically the two components, humans and technology. So I'm going to play a video. It has sound, and if there is no sound, please just let me know, unmute, and say that there is no sound. If there is sound, let's just watch the video.
Not able to hear this audio, sir.
No audio.
Okay, there's no audio. Okay. Okay, then I'll just tell those who don't know. So yes, I'm gonna keep do the same thing for the rest of the videos. Currently, the whole idea is there is this chip placed in the skull, which means near to the people's brains. Currently, they do it with animals, and they've been testing it. It works quite well. So it's connecting directly with the neural networks in the brain. That means improving, let's say, internet connection to your brains. And that would accelerate how we understand our own human intelligence, and then later would be able to, by knowing how we humans have the intelligence, how it emerges in our brains, how the consciousness is somewhat enabled by our brains and neural networks, that would help us to achieve greater progress with the artificial intelligence. And this is another video showing that there is this robot, Sophia, again, already since 2016, so for 5 years or so. And yeah, that's a humanoid robot having abilities to talk and to have conversations. It has AI algorithms to do many things. And imagining these robots also can arrive to educational setting. It could be possibly the teachers sometimes. So there are multiple ways how these technologies are bringing new ways of improving our educational experience. And just for fun, there are also this company, Boston Dynamics, that are producing this very capable robot. So it's a fully designed technologies, very capable, some of them very human-like, but much more like advanced in the strength, in the capabilities, and at the same time keeping the performance, as you say, very, very closely resembling that a human person can do. So these are all the technological progression that we currently have with the technology side. At the same time, what I always emphasize, we always need to look back on ourselves, because I said it's a human intelligence and artificial intelligence, how we coexist, how we co-evolve. And this is a video, again, I will remove the sound and I will just tell what the story is. And that's a quick, let's say, reflection on the ancient people when a new technology is arriving to the community. And in this case, it's like a focus group. Okay, this person invented a thing which is called a wheel. And the wheel is presented to the early men at that time. And then they ask, okay, what do you think about this new invention, this new technology that rolls, can be added to the wagons to move a heavy load and make the life easier by just having this possibility of technology helping to, yeah, not to carry everything in your hands. And then the focus group says, well, but if it rolls, then it can roll away and get lost. So we can lose it. And then the other person says, well, sometimes it can roll over your foot, which wouldn't be very pleasant. So, and then the third person says, well, do you have the same thing, but in a square kind of shape? And the answer is no, no square, only the round wheel. And then these guys are just continuing with the same conversation, saying, well, if we had a square one, then actually that didn't roll, then we'll be fixing all the problems. So we would fix the problem of it not rolling away and not getting lost. It would be fixing the problem of not rolling over your foot. And this is how our human nature resists, and sometimes is really counterproductive to all technology that is emerging. And the same way also the education that stagnates can be rejecting some of these capabilities. But the good news about human nature is, over the last decades, and this is already scientifically proven and validated, it's called neuroplasticity. So in our brains, everything is enabled by this one phenomenon. So neurons can unwire and rewire differently to accommodate new learning, new experiences, everything. So if you want to quit an old habit, it would require the old neural network to unwire and rewire in a different place. So therefore, we have the capacity, and it's inbuilt in our DNA, into our biology. So therefore, it's a good news. So even we have experience of resistance, we still have the mechanism that helps to overcome that. And if we take it into account and we use it properly, we can achieve great results. Like in this case, if the same person, the learner, over the year didn't change anything, it's the same one at the end of the 365 days. If there's just a 1% increase in how the student learns, the result mathematically is 37.78, which is much greater than the one. And if the same goes the other way, if the student is just 1% less performing, or the educational system is 1% less performing every day, the result is completely different the other way, where we don't want. So that's the power of transformation, the same transformation that the previous speaker was speaking right before me. So now, taking a closer look to our brains, as I said, the neuroplasticity is in there, but at the same time, also the Nobel Prize winner, Daniel Kahneman, in one of his fundamental books about thinking fast and slow, explains we have these two brain parts: instinctive, impulsive, reactive, emotional, which is red in this picture, and the blue one, which makes us different from the animals, which is intelligent, rational, logical, and capable of many other things. At the same time, we know that not always we are in the full control which part of the brain is making decisions, and that inaccuracy is also damaging the educational experience. So therefore, before we design the future educational environments that would be very much helping to achieve hyper performance for the students, we need to understand the students have the same brains, and those brains might be inaccurately interpreting the world, including what we are giving through the education, just like in this example. So if I would ask, okay, which of these cars are looking bigger or smaller? And most of the people instinctively will tell, well, the car that is closer is smaller and the one that's further away is bigger. But then if we remove the background, what do we see? We place them next to each other, they're exactly the same. So this is nothing wrong by definition, but this is what we have. And what we have is not perfect ability to interpret our experiences with the reality and with the world. And if this is the case, we have to take into account when we design education, the system, and especially knowing.
Sir, we can hear the audio. We can hear it.
You hear me? Can you hear me? Yes, no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good. So shall I continue?
Please, sir.
Good. So, well, if we are more skilled and aware of what happens in the brains of the students, we are able to tailor technologies and adjust technologies to avoid some of these, let's say, human detriments that we currently have with how our brains perceive reality. That was just a quick reminder. At the same time, there are these studies that show how even from the young age, and you can see these kids are like, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 years. And they already are experiencing these two brain parts in this marshmallow experiment. Maybe some of you already know that, where they're given a plate with a one marshmallow and they're told, if you will sit and wait, after 10 minutes, you will get another one. But if you will eat it right now, you will not get the other one. So you can choose whichever way you go. And you will see some of these kids just eating because they are instinctively saying, okay, this is sugar, this is good for me, I'm gonna eat it now, and that's I'm happy about, not waiting for the other one. But some people using the logical part of the brain and thinking, well, but if I will wait, I will get another one, so I will have two, just like this boy. So just waited, it was difficult, it was internal debate between the two brain parts. Okay, instinctively I want it now, but if I will do it, if I will wait, I will get the second one. The same happens with the inner student's brain. The same happens with all the assignments, exams, the preparations, like doing their homework. If we take it into account and build it properly, it will be significantly bringing students to hyper performance. This is an example outside of the education, but this is an example that says, if you do 30 squats in a metro station, you get a free ticket. And that's what is in Moscow, the previous episode. This one is in Mexico, they did the same. And then they did another one in Dubai, offering 1 real gram of gold for if the citizens lose 1 real kilogram of their weight. So promoting more healthier lifestyles. It's all great, but there is one problem with all of these technologies, because they are relying on one fundamental human trait, that they are sensitive to this, what you see on the screen. That's a free ticket. And what I call this is a carrot. It's a carrot, it's a positive incentive. And people are doing it only for this. And if you remove that, people will stop doing it. And this is already have been proven in the behavioral science. So yes, if you want to improve a performance, yes, you can motivate through the positive incentives like carrots. Or sometimes you can motivate with the negative incentives like sticks. And I think that those are one of the most frequently used in let's say in a conventional educational setting. But the reality is, out of these two types, transactional, it's like a one-time change. It's not sustainable. You cannot achieve a progression in the educational experience just by continuously giving out sticks or punishments. And the same doesn't work with the carrots. Yes, if you do perform quite well, you might have a better grade, but it might not be related with your actual learning experience. So therefore, these sticks and carrots are artificial to our biology, to our sociology, to everything. But the human part is how we relate to other people, how we relate to other students. And I'll show you later some examples how if you design technology, not using the carrots and sticks as the functions of technology, but using social influence, which is how we relate to other people, then we can achieve much more sustainable change, which I call transformation. We did another study and we looked whether the new knowledge leads to actual integration of the knowledge and behavior, whether the students, whether the people are from the knowledge, from the moment that they learn, whether they actually do something about it. And if we take the other context, for example, managerial context or organizational context, yes, people are motivated by punishments and rewards and expected to have the behavior. But in our study, we've proven there's another way which doesn't require any sticks and it doesn't require any carrots. And the same can be, I believe, applied to education. It means once you learn something, it's a question whether you integrate it as part of your conceptual view, how you see the world, whether that is meaningful to you. And if you have brought your students from the knowledge to accepting this as part of their existence, of their reality, of their life, then you're already making a huge step towards them being in compliance with this new knowledge. The next one is when they accepted it, there has to be an intention to do something about it. So sometimes people know, like, accept that smoking kills, but they don't intend to change anything. They continue smoking. In the same way, we need to bring, in this case, the students from the acceptance to intention. So integrating into the whole learning experience, not only the knowledge, not only how it integrates into their daily experiences, but also how they need to plan for doing something differently in their lives. Intention to do something about this new knowledge. And then from there, you have enabled these students to actually perform this knowledge in their real life, which I call behavior. How to do that? So for that, I have constructed this framework with 8 fundamental components of transformation. We will not go into the details. It's available on my website, on my YouTube channel. It starts in the energetic intelligence on the left upper side, and then it goes to transformation G that I explained, that we inherently have the understanding of transformation. The typology of change I just explained, the 3 types of change: transaction, transition, transformation. There's a vectoral transformation. There is a use of artificial intelligence and neuroscience for getting that stuff done. Social influence is the most accessible, most perpetually available source of encouragement. Technology is amplifier and experience design. So now let's just get back to what it takes for a human being to really experience a transformation, including students, including teachers, including the educational management. Relentless honesty. If we are not relentlessly honest with ourselves, we cannot achieve transformation inside. If we are not relentlessly honest with everybody else around us, the same thing would fail. I'm just using this Rubik's Cube as an example. When you take a Rubik's Cube, it's usually, when it's the first time, it's very difficult to understand how it works and what to do with it. But I've learned over the years that if you don't have an understanding what's the algorithm in the Rubik's Cube, you have very high chances of failing. First of all, that's the knowledge that you learn there is an algorithm. Now it's the question how you train the algorithm and integrate in your brains. And after, I think, 6 months or so, I was able to solve the Rubik's Cube in 2 minutes. Actually, this result, 3 minutes 36, was, I think, after 4 months or so. And now I can do in 2 minutes anytime. But taking this whole concept even further. So this is a person standing at a desk with 3 Rubik's Cubes. And I usually, if you haven't seen this video, I would usually ask, okay, what do you think the person is gonna do with the 3 Rubik's Cubes? And you might not imagine. So let's see. Solving the Rubik's Cubes on the fly, all 3 at the same time. Non-stop, juggling with the 3 Rubik's Cubes and solving all 3 on the fly. And that's a human being. That has the same brains, the same neurons. It's just where do we put our energy? That's where we get the result. So there's a human being on this planet that can do it in 5 minutes. And that's, of course, a record, Guinness record of this kind of sort of thing, and exposing the capacity of every single human being who has the brain and has the neural networks and the plasticity of our neurons. This is what we can do. And again, that's one part. And the second part, technology. So what happens when we put the Rubik's Cube into a robot? And we say, robot, okay, do it as fast as you can. The same physical Rubik's Cube put into the robotic arms with all the intelligence. And you see, maybe it's difficult to see, I'll tell you, it's less than 1 second. It's a 0.887 seconds for a machine to solve, in this case, just a 1 cube. But just to put into the contrast, okay, the human capacity also very extraordinary, and the same also goes with technology. So the whole question is how we combine these two things together so we have a good result for the education in this case. So this is a video which tells how in China, students already are having this setting where these headbands are signaling whether the students, these younger students, are paying attention. And the color changes. So if the headband says it's a white, so the student is not paying attention, maybe daydreaming or somewhere else. If it's green, it's working. And all this data is communicated real time to the teacher. And also it can be real time communicated to the parents. So what's really happening with the brains and with the neurons into this learning experience? Yes, the other advancements, how in China, people can use their face to pay. So sometimes we use the phone for paying, but there you can do many other things with the faces and the facial recognition. Many other applications of artificial intelligence. So we learn how learning happens. We learn how the learning can be improved. We learn how the educational setting can be even advanced. Even by just a simple thing, how to diagnose whether somebody is ill in a class, because we would avoid this illness to be spread. And for the older students, there is this whole concept of seeing how many times they check the phones or how many times they yawn during the classes. Of course, it can be close to the ethical debate about whether we like it or not, but that's another topic, very important, and for that we would need another whole session to speak about this. But just to give you another example, technologies are improving the experience in the airport, for example. They put on and project every seat number on the floor, so every person comes to their own seat number. They are sequenced in a very nice way so that they don't get congestion in the airplane. They get to their seat in the best possible way. And also, because the projection is quite wide, they also naturally keep the social distancing during this pandemic. And this solution was introduced during that time. So what is the secret? What is the source? What is the enabler for all of these solutions to be successful? It's a transformation design framework. You currently see there are 8 tools. There are 4 tools for investigation phase. It's all about psychological components and the context. Then there is 2 design phases, 5 and 6, when you construct technology to solve educational problem or improve some kind of learning experience. And then 7 and 8 is to make sure that your solution is assuring a long-term success. And when that kind of a framework is applied, solutions like this, we were developing at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. I was at the MIT Media Lab, and she was one of my students. And this is just a very brief demonstration where we were addressing sedentary behavior. So the longer a person sits, the LED strip on the back of the chair changes the color from the green to red. And there's a pressure sensor which detects that. And this is how technology, even for a small prototype in the learning context, that was a course on health behavior change at scale. And these were the prototypes that students were building to showcase how technology can transform our realities and help our lives better. The next one, we were playing with data, extracting from the phone. And in this case, we were extracting step count. And we were trying to think about, oh, if there are steps in the phone, maybe that can be a currency. And we can engage people to exchange their steps for something. And that could be also used for students. So if they are more mobile and they walk to their school and use more walking, they would be more active, and they could exchange that as some kind of currency for, I don't know, workshops in the school or other activities. Then also for the bicycling. So some of the bikes, they have electric battery, and you can use that. But if the vehicle allows you to do both, you can still have an instant reflection whether other people on the same vehicle have been using electric assist, which would be red in this case, or they were pedaling themselves, which is green. So different kind of instant reflections help to learn what are their own behaviors and how to change if they want to. These are other ways how engaging in a workshop type of style, how people are addressing, for example, in this case, regional question, where we would like to have a new bus line to be connected from the region coming into the city and arriving to the street. And by using this technological projection that instantly changes the style of the street, depending where you place this logo prepared materials, it's very helpful in really having the understanding how the things work and what would be the impact in the real life. Coming up to the very urban scale platform that we used at the MIT Media Lab with my colleagues here, It's how you're changing what kind of buildings will be in the city is changing the different parameters like energy consumption, walkability, access to parks, and several others. And maybe to conclusion, I'll show you quickly a few real startup ideas, and the startups are already using this transformation design framework. And this one is about a startup that cares about cleanliness of our planet. It's how we litter or we don't litter. Do we throw our garbage just everywhere on the streets, in the oceans, or we throw them into intellectual bins? So the whole idea is if there is a lottery ticket, and if it's unscratched, what we care about it. And if we drop it, we usually pick it up to make sure whether we got the lottery or not. The same way the litter bin here would be recognizing whether you sort correctly with the artificial intelligence machine learning. If you sort your litter correctly and you throw the garbage into the right bin, you get an e-lottery ticket. That means every single piece of litter actually is now a lottery ticket. And if you use it properly, you get it. If you don't use it properly, if you put the wrong litter in the wrong bin, you get a reminder, okay, next time do better. But that's the whole concept, how we can use intertwining technology with our human nature to accelerate the change in the context that we want. And just to illustrate that we currently already have, the human intelligence has built the rover. The rover is on the Mars. And the rover knows how to place all the waste in the same location. Like these two things that were on the rover that were unnecessary at some point, they were dropped on the surface of Mars, but they were not dropped randomly. They were dropped next to each other, so that human intelligence can build our own perception, our own perspective already in the artificial intelligence, which is the rover, with which we have a delay of 10 minutes in the communication, and the rover knows what to do and uses this inbuilt human intelligence into the artificial one already like on a different planet. And the final reminder, if somebody believes that humans are having some artificial limits, let's pay attention to this guy. And if you pay closer attention, yes, a skateboard person, but there is something in the hand. And what do we have? What we can learn? Most likely this person has a very difficult life to see things clearly or see things at all. So it uses this supportive stack, and the person is just doing perfect tricks, even without caring that there is this limitation of how well the person can see. And the final thing that I usually show to everybody is my favorite astrophysicist, Neil deGrasse Tyson, saying, there are great people in the world, and there are great talents in the world. And if everyone can express their gifted talents, and in this case, not only the personal gifted talent, but the talents to use technology to amplify what we want to transform in the world, including the education, if everyone had the luxury to do that on a daily basis, we would be transforming society overnight. Thank you so much. If everyone has interest in what do I do, what it all is about, the transformation design framework, the hyper performance, I have the website. You see agnesstuyve.com, and I also have the YouTube channel. I will drop that into the chat. So if everyone is interested to see the slides and stuff like that, that's all accessible there. So that's it from now. And I will tell you that unfortunately I would need to go in 1 minute because I have the next thing coming up right now. And I'm sorry for that. We kind of start a little late, and now I really need to go in 1 minute.
Yeah, thank you, Agnistai, for your wonderful presentation. Apart from the technology, the behavior, the emotions, connecting to intelligence, everything you just narrated, which is related to education. It was a wonderful need of the hour. Superb presentation.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir.
I dropped the links into the chat if anyone just wants to kind of come back.
yeah, a minute, you can wait.
We do have a couple of questions, but I know you're pretty much busy. So like in a private chat, like we will let you know the questions. So it will be help our participants to guide it in the right way. With your permission, now I request Karthikeyan sir to share the screen, and I request Mr. Wordsworth Annadurai sir, CEO and founder of Salem Infotech from USA, to honor Agnes sir.
Good evening. Hey, good evening, everyone. Hi, Professor Agnes Type. It's a great presentation. It's mind-blowing, and how the data you collect and how you empower Education Institute and students. A great honor to be here, and a great honor to listen to your presentation. And on behalf of AVIT and Vinayaga Mission, I would like to honor you. I'd like to thank you for the presentation, and I know you're running out of time. We don't want to hold you for more than what you're supposed to be here, and we like to connect with you and engage you in future endeavors. Thank you for your great presentation.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you again. Thank you.
Open to continue. Okay, look forward to the next time. Have a great
Yeah.
session. All right.
Bye. Thank
take
you.
care.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Agnesh.
Thank you, sir. So, shall we go ahead, sir?
Yes, madam. Yes, madam. You can go ahead.
Yes. Karthik, sir, can you please play the video of Salem Infotech?
Yes, ma'am.
So in day 1, day 2, day 3, like we were really happy to share Salem Infotech video. Now in the presence of CEO sir, we would like to play the video one more time.
Karthik, audio, I'm not able to hear it.
Shall I try Karthikeyan sir?
Wordsworth, sir, welcome to our platform, and thanks for your
Salem
support.
Infotech. With over 18 years of experience in various
Madam, it has been struck, I think, so it is just.
Yes, sir. Shall I do it, sir?
Yes, madam, you can try it.
Yes, sure. From Salem Infotech. With over 18 years of experience in various cloud-enabled services, legacy, emerging tools and technology, application development services, project program management services, software maintenance services. We are happy to introduce you to our product and services. Being Salesforce official partner, we are intended to establish on-job training centers to institutions all over the globe. This OJT training program helps students to acquire jobs in top companies. In addition to that, we also ensure all students get placed in this program. We would like to spotlight Insta, the only CRM software you would need to meet all your requirements. It is developed in a way that institutions and industries do their work seamlessly. And we have, for instance, the top-notch hospital management software. The experience in working with bodies like Maryland Department of Health, Mississippi Department of Human Services, Pioneer Medical Technology, and many clients in healthcare industry, we have developed the best hospital management software ever. To know more, feel free to contact us and visit our website www.saleminfotech.com. We are happy to be a part of this World Education Summit 2021 Beyond Pandemic. Enjoy the conference. Stay safe, stay strong.
Vanita, madam, I think you can share this video. Wordsworth sir will be able to address the gathering before Dr. Rania madam will be addressing. I hope either Karthikeyan and Vanita can share the presentation which I shared.
Sure.
Followed by Dr. Rania will be addressing. Thanks for your patience.
Yes, thank you. So now shall I invite Rania ma'am, sir?
No, madam, kindly you share the presentation which I shared, Karthikeyan or yourself.
Okay, sir. I'll do it.
After Wordsworth sir addressing, Dr. Rania madam will be addressing.
Sure, sir. Sure. Sir, the screen is visible, sir?
Yes, madam, visible. Full
Yes,
screen mode.
yes.
Fine.
Yes, sir. Sure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Good evening and good morning. I don't know, a lot of this is people all over the world joining this great event, Education Summit, on behalf of World Education Summit on behalf of AVIT. I'd like to thank, or I'd like to invite all the participants, all the great leaders, education leaders, faculties and students, everyone. We have come together into this Education Summit to celebrate education. Education is very, very important. We all know that. Because of education, we are here. And I just being part of this event and summit, we are proud to be part of this event. And I just want to give a few overview about Salem Infotech. So we are one of the pioneers in technology, education technology, and other technologies in US and all over the world. In the second slide, can you move on the second slide, Vanita?
Vanita, can you make it to slideshow?
Please. All right, so let's and I'll just go over it. So we are in a SLE market. SLE is a state, local, and education. So when I say local and education, it consists of state institutions in US and other part of the world. So we provide a higher education platform with a couple of major functionalities. One of them is bringing a career path for the students, which comes with we call it as a 3M functionality. So 3M gives three different of mentorship, measurement, and monitoring of a student to pick a career path. That's one of the highlight of our product called Instra. So it gives a full-fledged Salesforce-based CRM higher education platform. It starts from the day one, from the student starts in this institution, or even also we have the recruitment piece of it. Once recruitment starts, students can be travel with the faculty and other stakeholders in the whole institute. That gives you enormous empowerment to the students, staff, and the other stakeholders participating in the institution, molding a student. This is high level of Salem Infotech. And we have Center of Excellence that gives a lot of opportunity for the different universities, institutions, enable themselves to digitally enable them, and digital platform that gives the research and development opportunity for the students and faculties in cloud, DevOps, AI, and all the high technology areas. So with that said, we are very, very happy to be part of this Education Summit, and we wanted to continue support AVIT and Education Institute faculties and all other participants in this program. Thank you, Professor Lakshmi Mohan, Dr. Vijay Babu, for the great opportunity for us.
Thank you, sir. Vanita, madam, I think you can move the slides so that few more slides. Can you able to hear it, madam?
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Professor. Thank you, Bedsu Tayadare from USA, Salem Infotech CEO. Thank you very much for your sponsorship also, sir. Thank you.
Thanks for a great support. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Yes, madam. Next, we can move on to next session, madam.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your great presence, sir. Thank you.
Welcome, Dr. Rania, madam. Welcome.
Dear all, we are heading into the third session of day 3. It's a great honor in welcoming Dr. Rania Lampu ma'am for session 3 of day 3 of World Education Summit 2021 Beyond Pandemic. It's my proud privilege to welcome Dr. Rania Lamba, Global Educator, STEM Instructor, Greek Ministry of Education and Religious Affairs, Directorate of Educational Technology. Madam is a global educator, a multi-award winning STEM instructor, an ICT teacher trainer, and a neuroeducation researcher in Greece. Currently, Madam is a STEM instructor at a Greek Astronomy and Space Company, annex of Salamis, and she is also working at the Greek Ministry of Education at the Directorate of Educational Technology and Innovation, where Madam writes STAM projects for Greek schools. Madam has been awarded for many national and international prizes, so far 70, and Madam has been awarded as a Global Teacher Award 2020 AKS Award winner and a Global Teacher Prize finalist 2019 by Varkey Foundation. Recently, Madam has been selected as a Global Icon 2020, featured in Passion Vista magazine among the top 10 women entrepreneurs featured in Fortune India website and among the 100 most successful women in business featured in an Amazon book. Madam is promoting STEAM's vision by introducing STEM in astronomy and physics projects and combines STEM with language teaching. She is the founder and international coordinator of 8 innovative international projects that focus on United Nations Sustainable Development Goals described in the 2030 Agenda. She is also an author of scientific books for kids. And there are many more achievements of Madam has piled up. Madam, we are so happy to have you here, Madam. We are so great to hear from you, Madam. The session is yours.
Greetings from Greece. Good afternoon to all participants. I'm very, very honored to participate in this so significant, enriching, and meaningful conference. My name is Rania Lambu. I'm a STEM instructor at the Greek Astronomy Space Company, and I'm also working at the Greek Ministry of Education. And today we're going to going to discuss about the crucial role of STEM education, not only in the job market, but also in curriculum of the fourth industrial revolution. And in the second part, I'm going to present you some of my multi-award winning projects concerning physics, astronomy, and language teaching also. So may I share my presentation?
Yes, yes, yes.
So is it visible now?
Started sharing, Madam, but we couldn't see the content yet. Yes, Madam.
Okay.
Yes, Madam.
Can you see the PowerPoint? Okay. So we are in the age of the fourth industrial revolution, which is changing the world around us with artificial intelligence, robotics, big data, and the Internet of Things, which are its new tools. And the main challenges are related to exponential growth of digital tools that includes robots, connected objects, communication systems, data centers. The impact on jobs and industry that these tools have created is huge. However, they also present huge opportunities to tap. So we need highly skilled, flexible, but at the same time, emotionally and socially intelligent professionals that can solve tomorrow's problems already from today. So the fourth industrial revolution is characterized by the fusion of digital, biological, and physical worlds, as well as the growing utilization of new technologies, such as artificial intelligence, cloud computing, Internet of Things, and 3D printing. But at the same time, we are in the COVID period. And here we can see that new literacies are needed in order to survive and thrive in the uncertain world of the new normal. We need, of course, data literacy, because students are expected to have abilities of reading, analyzing, and utilizing information they receive from an ocean of data. Technological literacy, but the most important of all is human literacy. Why human literacy? Because according to experts of the fifth industrial revolution, because we are at the same time at the threshold of the fifth industrial revolution, The fourth industrial revolution has failed, and it has failed. Why? Because it has ignored the human factor. So in the fifth industrial revolution, humans should go along with machines, and teachers should maintain human character while teaching and working with machines. So futurizing education for building a workforce for enterprise of the fourth industrial revolution will need a more robust professional framework, and education plays an important role in ensuring the skill readiness of the labor force. General education as well as vocational education have a critical role to play in making the labor force industry ready. So to take full advantage of the opportunity created by advanced technology, we need a similar revolution in education. We need to ensure that students and teachers alike get the best possible teaching learning experience. And this calls for what we call education for and curriculum for, that addresses the needs of the fast developing world around us. Unfortunately, in most schools and colleges, we're still now teaching subjects in a traditional way with all the same course content. And any discussion for the future of work should go hand in hand with a discussion on the future of curriculum. So industry of the fourth industrial revolution has a lot of opportunities for academic institutions to upgrade themselves to the next level. For shaping the expectation of students, academic institutions will need to design collaborations. Universities, colleges, research centers, governments, agencies, and corporates need to collectively get involved in the process. Because modern learning cannot happen without modernizing delivery. So faculty 4 should go hand in hand with curriculum 4. And teachers should focus their efforts on using technological applications that aid cognitive learning abilities. So we are faced with a challenge of defining the curriculum to keep up with the evolution of skills required to solve problems, innovate, and succeed. Because as a society, I think that so far we are failing to meet this challenge, and consequently we are failing to prepare the new generation, the next generation for the future. Because how will future generations will thrive in this changing landscape? Reshaping of course curricula is a considerable challenge, implying complex decision-making processes and various administrative obstacles. So we can talk about three levels important of the fourth industrial revolution, the curriculum 4. First of all, the level of collaboration. It implies many changes between institutions and different types and patterns of collaborations that are needed. First of all, we can ensure a multitude of experiential opportunities, including collaboration with companies, manufacturers, technology providers, startups, other educational institutions via joint platforms, thematic networks, peer-to-peer learning, governments, community, and also further increasing university industry collaboration in terms of both volume and diversity of collaboration forms, such as apprenticeships, internships, mentoring, think tank competitions, summer schools. We have to acknowledge the role of industry partners as educational, research, and employment partners. We need to create also more opportunities for exchanging experience with other educational institutions, and we need to create effective learning ecosystems that actually engage all key stakeholder groups, including industry, as I said before, policymakers, and broader community. So we need to shift from human-machine interaction towards human-machine collaboration. As far as the content is concerned, here we can see that we need, of course, to upgrade the technical side of the curriculum to accommodate the learning of next generation robotics, additive manufacturing, smart materials. But at the same time, we need to incorporate non-technical disciplines into the curriculum, such as project management, marketing, communication, arts. Why? We need to develop a cross-cutting competencies and a mindset beyond technical expertise. And we need also to pay special attention to question of ethics, social inclusion, diversity and sustainability, digital ethics. So we need to incorporate, for example, sustainable development goals in our lesson plan. So offer a holistic view of education, and this is very important as far as the content is concerned. And What about learning environment? The learning environment, of course, when we're talking about STEM, we're going to talk about STEM. We always talk about problem-based learning, project-based learning, challenge-based learning. We need to stimulate creativity, divergent thinking, and instead of focusing on standardized thinking questions, we need correct answers. We need to create an environment that would stimulate creativity, forming of own opinion, and divergent interpretations. We need to create a culture that accepts mistakes and potential failures and developing the ability to turn these failures into valuable learning experience. So we need to create a learning environment that can offer experiences relevant to real working conditions. We need to give to our students real world problems, challenges that they will face in the future. Of course, we're talking also about collaborative learning and stimulate technology, also enable learning. So what are the new trends of education? Of course, that learning can be taking place anytime, anywhere, that learning should be personalized to students, that students should have a choice in determining how they want to learn. And also their opinion should be considered in designing the curriculum. And they need to be exposed to more hands-on learning because it is proven by research that it's more efficient. Very important also is the assessment, and we see that here, the COVID pandemic, how many innovative approaches concerning assessment have emerged. So as the economy shifts to a more knowledge-driven industry, we need to master existing demand for skills and develop the skills of those who will drive technological change and the productivity. So we need a competitive STEM-based skills, which is vital to our future. STEM, we all know that is the acronym of Science, Technology, Engineering, Mathematics. It was introduced recently by the scientific administrators. The acronym was created by scientific administrators in the USA. And what are the top skills in 2020 according to the World Economic Forum? We can see here problem solving, critical thinking, creativity, emotional intelligence, negotiation, cognitive flexibility. We can find all the skills in STEM education. Strategies to support this, as I said before, that we need to incorporate at the same time social emotional learning alongside with technical skills. So we need to encourage also play-based learning, especially primary education, develop a growth mindset, foster nurturing relationships, provide challenges. And STEM is actually science, and science is inquiry-based learning, it's holistic, it's dynamic, it's unique, it involves always problem solving, it's interdisciplinary, we're going to talk about this. So STEM actually projects focus on inquiry, student-led investigations through open-ended real-life problems, empower students to become out-of-the-box thinkers and creators. And this STEM education reflects 21st century skills, incorporated the 4 C's, as we all know: creativity, critical thinking, collaboration, communication. And what are the features of, what are the characteristics of STEM educated students? They are innovators, they are inventors, self-reliant, logical thinkers, technologically literate, problem solvers. And STEM learning should be a lifelong process, should include everyday experiences, and students should be involved in research. Broader sociocultural and political factors should be considered, and new technologies are important. If we integrate A in the acronym STEM, we have STEAM, which is actually the new trend in education now all around the world. And why STEM is important? Because the value of art skills to the economy alongside skills in science, technology, and engineering math is important. So we need blended skills. Creativity, design, entrepreneurial skills can facilitate innovation and problem solving. So what is actually STEM approaches? And it is education interdisciplinary approach that aims to promote research spirit, social skills, arts integration, empirical inquiry learning, and active participation of students through trial and errors, because this provides students with confidence and competence to function effectively as informed citizens that can participate to democratic civic decision-making. And these skills are necessary in the 21st century skill in order for people to deal responsibly with complex situations. Some important characteristics of, for example, educational robotics applications are disciplinarity, because educational robotic activities foster children's knowledge of many disciplines, and also imagination, creativity linked with innovation and problem solving, of course. And here I want to clarify something which is very, very important. We have two categories of STEM. We have what we call STEM unplugged, and this is the STEM that we can do with simple and everyday materials that we can find in our home, in our house, such as cardboard or Lego or anything else. And we can also, at the other part, we have STEM, which includes computational thinking and involves the use of technology and programming. It's important also to bring in computational thinking to STEM education. Why? Here I want to say something that, of course, computational thinking is a model of thinking, very important, but contrary to a common perception that computational thinking belongs to programming and computer science, we should highlight its multifaceted nature, because actually computational thinking is contained in most elements of problem solving that educators are constantly teaching their students. We are teaching, for example, computational thinking in kindergarten. When we teach students to process things with steps, we just don't know that this is related to computer science. So this is much more important. It's probably more important even than coding. So computer science is not about coding, it more only is about interface design, data analysis, machine learning, cybersecurity, networking. And learning computer science encourages creativity, problem solving, ethics, and collaborations. And what are some, here we can see, okay, some important components of computational thinking. We have abstraction, how to see a problem at different level of details. Algorithmic thinking, which is the tendency to see tasks in terms of smaller discrete steps. And decomposition, how to solve a problem. Solving a problem involves solving a set of smaller problems. And pattern recognition, how to see a new problem related to problems previously faced. And what are the educational technologies that can promote STEM education? We all know virtual reality. It is important education. Why? Because it engages students as it is an immersive technology, and it's also used in game industry. And this studies show that virtual environment can stimulate learning and comprehension. For example, there are programs that can help students understand scientific concepts in a more complete way. We have clickers or keypads. It's a classroom technology that allows students to respond and interact through small handheld transmitters, and clickers usually have a 10-digit numeric keypad. And also clickers are an effective tool, especially in large classes, because they engage students by enhancing the active participation and joy, the increased attention and retention. Flipped Classroom, you all know about this, and MOOCs who have Internet of Things and Internet of Me, that includes smart watches, smart clothes, wearable technologies that have many possible applications in education training, because with wearable technologies, learning can happen anywhere and anytime. And we have also cloud computer, which provides access to resources that can be requested and configured by the user. And in education, cloud computing can provide e-learning services, virtual world simulation, video streaming. Teachers can create virtual computers. New scenarios and innovations are possible through cloud computing. So what about STEM? So far, we can see significant improvement in STEM education, but still it isn't integrated in curriculum all around the world. It remains a misleading concept. It is not very well understood by teachers. And it's here I want to qualify what we call STEM-based gender gap, because changing the impression that science is for boys and not for girls is a huge challenge. So we know that the number of girls, young women pursuing STEM subjects is lower than that of males. And this results in STEM workforce that is comparatively low, with low representation of women, and this is a challenge that many countries face. So an urgent action is needed in order to ensure that the talent pool for STEM industries is attractive to both men and women. Because we need to address the STEM skills gender gap by improving the participation of girl and women. And this has a huge potential for the economy and women themselves in terms of career satisfaction and earning. So what about STEM in higher education? Of course, our rapidly changed society needs highly qualified STEM professionals to develop solutions to the problems it's facing. But here I want to say that very important and interesting research about STEM, what happens STEM in schools, but also here in higher education. The research is called ROSE, Relevance of Science Education, and reveals that the majority of young people show a very low interest in STEM so far. And this has an influence on interest retention. Why? Because many students still regard STEM jobs as very difficult and risky, with a few practical or creative opportunities. And students lack a sense of relevance of science and technology to, for example, to environmental issues. They lack training in everyday practices. And this lack or loss of interest in science and technology, of course, strongly contrasts with our world-growing problems, which call for urgent technological innovation based on scientific research, for example, issues of energy, sustainability, or climate change. And it's interesting that this ROSE study reveals that we all know that the science, as it is taught today all around the world, does not help students realize its importance to society. The often fragmented manner in which STEM courses such as mathematics, geography, physics, electricity are taught in secondary education does not appeal to students and causes them to lose interest in science. And school science also does not resemble real-world science, real-life problems. They does not prepare students to tackle real-world problems, which often require a interdisciplinary approach. So we need to ensure that we must return to an earlier stage of the educational system that focus on secondary STEM education from the perspective of the higher STEM education. And what is the place of STEM in schools? The place of STEM in school is vital to providing a sustainable long-term answer to the shortages we face. So we need an engaged and relevant curriculum, as I said before. And growing STEM skill shortages are a real concern for education and businesses, with 2 young people choosing science so far. An annual education survey in England highlights that 39% of companies had difficulty recruiting recruiting staff with STEM skills and knowledge over the last 12 months. So the problem is very, very more important, such as manufacturing and engineering sectors crucial to the rebalancing of the economy. So we need a step change, obviously, and this has actually to start from primary education. And what is happening in primary education? What about primary school students? For the hundreds of years or more of compulsory schooling, there has been an almost constant concern that students are less enthusiastic about selling science in primary education. And what are the challenges that primary school teachers face so far? That, of course, they can't find curriculum time. This is one challenge. The level of priority given to science, the confidence of primary teachers to teach science, and the relative lack of professional development around the subject. So according to a recent research, over half of teachers in England report science becoming less important in the curriculum, with many schools setting aside too little teaching time. We can see here that, according to research, teachers have a lack of training and, of course, a weak subject knowledge, which contributes to low confidence and poor pedagogic skills. So we can realize that a teacher who lacks confidence is unlikely and impossible to inspire students or change the perceptions that science is only for brainy people. According to another research that it was conducted in Australia in the press service and primary teachers, This showed some conclusions interesting that pre-service teachers should have experiences in STEM in order to apply their knowledge and skills, that science knowledge should be integrated in order for teachers to practice STEM teaching in an optimal manner, that we need an ongoing professional training in STEM education for all teachers. I want to highlight that STEM is not only for scientists, it's not only for teachers who are involved in mathematics or science. I will show you later how teachers for other disciplines can easily and very effectively apply STEM in education. There's no need to be afraid of this, especially I'm talking about primary school teachers. STEM should include the school and no-school experiences. And what are the goals of STEM educational programs? Why we need them for teachers? We need to reinforce teachers' core science knowledge. We need to improve their ability to conduct experiments, to revise models, to reinforce their scientific literacy, their skills, and enhance their pedagogical knowledge in teaching science. So how I was involved in STEM education. I had the chance to participate in a very innovative and pioneering program, which is organized by CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research, and in particular from the CMS experiment, and it was supported at first from Creations, the European program, and now it is supported by Reinforce and Frontiers European program, and the Atlas experiment. And there, the program concerned teaching of particle physics, and especially modern physics, in primary school students. So I had students, I worked this program as a flexible zone teacher. It was in a pilot way, and I had teachers from 6-year-old to 11 years old. So how is it possible to teach quantum physics to primary school students? The added value of this program, I mean, the idea of this program is based in research, which says that even children of a very small, very young age should be exposed to the world of science. Why? Because the exposure of young students to science in an early age results in the development and adoption of a positive attitude towards it. That early exposure to scientific phenomena prompts to better comprehension of the scientific terms. That science is an effective means for developing scientific thinking, and that the utilization of scientific literacy at an early age affects the development of scientific concepts in a very positive way later. It is not accidental that CERN organizes a particle physics workshop for students in preschool age and with great success. So according to this program, 10 teachers from Greece and 10 teachers from UK, from London, visit CERN installation, and there they get training. They're trained with simple materials. And when they return to the countries, they needed to transfer the knowledge to their peers and to their students. What is the concept is how to teach basic concept of modern physics using everyday materials and experiment with different materials and play-based, of course, processes and methods, because we're talking about primary education. So it's actually continued professional development courses organized by CERN. And the main thematic sessions I had to teach was cosmology, elementary particles, introduction to CERN, accelerators and detectors. The goal of this program is to enable primary school teachers to invent innovative scenarios and lesson plans, and enrich the curriculum, get acquainted with new teaching approaches based on hands-on activities and experiments, diffuse the knowledge we acquire at CERN to our college, and feel confident when we teach science. Of course, all these skills that were talked before, collaboration, problem solving, dealing with mistakes and creativity. And what is the scientific model we followed was, first of all, questions. Students investigate scientifically oriented question. Evidence, students give priority to evidence. Analyze, students analyze evidence. They formulate explanations. They connect explanations to scientific knowledge. They communicate. And finally, they reflect on their own learning. I'm going to show you some photos of my project, but before this, I want to say that I'm also an active member, stream instructor at the Greek Astronomy Space Company, where we organize many workshops, lectures, astronauts, not only for laypersons, but also for underprivileged children. And our goal is, of course, to increase scientific knowledge, understanding of science, acquire scientific literacy, to help students to acquire elements of scientific method, to express themselves artistically, because I always adopt STEAM in my teaching, to collaborate in teamwork and to increase their interest in STEM and science-related careers. And here I want to say that, of course, the program of CERN, the real objective was not obviously to make them learn about particle physics. This was not the objective. The main goal of this program was to make our children love science at an early age. This was the objective. And we have achieved this because at the end of the academic year, all my students told me that I want to be a physicist and I'm going to go to CERN. This was the success of the program. And when we teach STEM, I always adopt a mixed or eclectic model that adopts elements from various learning theories and methodologies, model, constructivism, project-based learning, as I said before, new technologies, because I had the chance to participate in the national competition and I won a 3D printer Ultimaker in my school, in a public school in Greece. So we created many models, 3D printing models of the particle detector CMS. I'm going to show you. And in disciplinarity, everything was there in my project. Astronomy, physics, chemistry, mathematics, mythology, history, philosophy, foreign language, arts. Here I want to say what is the difference between the disciplinarity and STEM, because STEM is actually in a disciplinary approach. When you teach, when you're doing a disciplinary program, you try to approach, for example, environment from different point of views, from geological, from mythological point of view, from historical point of view. This is interdisciplinarity. When you're doing STEM, at the same time, in one project, we try to involve many cognitive disciplines. And this is a new approach here in STEM, the new trend, which is called integrated STEM. Integrated STEMs means that you try to combine more or two cognitive disciplines. So the magic of STEM is at the same time you develop skills from different cognitive disciplines. Here is my new, more recent program that I did with my students for the national competition, and it's called the contribution of technology to the protection of our health. And it concerns the quality of life of residents of large cities. And this project, we try to examine the nuisance factors of an apartment, and more specifically noise pollution, and the harmful factors of the gaseous environment of the apartment, such as carbon monoxide, smoke, and dust. And what we did, we created, we constructed a model of an apartment where sound detection sensors were installed, as well as carbon monoxide detection sensor was installed. And the STEM technology we used was an Arduino microcontroller, a connection board with resistors, LEDs, and data measurement display. Of course, the goal of this project was to improve the quality of life of people living in modern homes. And we suggested also soundproofing materials such as foam, plastic, etc. We're talking obviously about a disciplinary STEM project because it involves physics, technology, mathematics, engineering, and art. And here I want to show you about the CERN program I mentioned before. We have created many activities and also interactive activities, digital, that we can find easily in YouTube on my channel, and also they are free on internet. My students created, depicted, for example, the CMS particle detector in multiple ways using a variety of materials and techniques, including wood, collages, Lego. The organized CMS exhibition. We created, for example, quizzes, interactive quizzes using Scratch, and also we created many videos about galaxies. We depicted phases of the moon, I'm going to show you later, using Oreo cookies, and many interactive activities using free digital tools. We also created digital timeline, depicting all the the important facts of the human of the particle physics from Marie Curie time till today. And theatrical events, the important thing is that students wrote the scripts. So here are some examples of our workshop, how to build a spectrometry using serial books. Here I want to say that I'm in these photos, it's a STEM unplugged. I mean, it's a STEM that where we use simple and everyday materials that we can find in our home. Simulate asteroids, how to build a telescope, constellations, solar and lunar eclipses, supernovas. And here I want to say that I'm also author of scientific astronomy book for students of 5 above. And it's original because it combines astronomy science, astronomy knowledge with humoristic dialogues. And of course, it has many pedagogical applications because we can and suggest to our students to create models of solar system, etc. So during this project of CERN, I want to show you photos. Here is CMS, particle detector, as it is located at CERN. This is the inner structure. And this is what we've done. We created CMS detector using pills you can see here, drinking straws, holograms, with wooden representations, 3D printing, which lasted 100 hours and 100 for assembling. Many paintings about the CMS detector. Particle collisions, explosions, presentations with Lego, Higgs boson, with dessert representation as it is, globe of science and innovation, maquettes of CERN, portraits of natural scientists, models of solar systems, history of the universe, Big Bang, simulation of the CMS experiment using LED flashes and tablets, virtual galleries, phases of the moon. And here I want to say that I am among the first educators on a global level that combines STEM education with language teaching. Here, I suggested to English language teacher to adopt an original lesson plan. And here we can see it's about a physics experiment, the Lemon battery, which also includes English language grammar because students have to experiment with different materials and they say it up. So because they learn physics at the same time, English grammar. And why bullying? Says science say no to bullying because here you can see some lemons which are yellow and one which is green, one which is the victim of bullying. So we have introduced sociology, and at the end, children have created a theatrical part. So in one project, we actually developed skills from physics, art, sociology, and English grammar. This is the magic of STEM. I'm also doing STEM as a volunteer for children of the Ecological Hospital, and the children were very, very excited. They light up with this kind of activities. I'm also volunteering for refugees and children with special education needs. All these projects have so far received 74 awards, and for all this project, the Global Teacher Prize and the Global Teacher Award. Thank you very much for your attention. And if you have any question, I am at your disposal.
Thank you, Dr. Rania. It was a power-packed session for today's, I think, to the participants. You started about the education, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, then about the stream, curriculum 4.0, the need of the hour, interdisciplinary learning, and whatnot. It's doing by learning, which makes to be more interesting. And you did it, and you made others to understand. That's the way you are having 74 awards globally. And we are very happy that a global leader addressing your forum. Today we have 3 sessions. First session on national education policy. Second about emotions, characteristics, artificial intelligence towards education. And third one, the combination of all by doing, by practicing, by implementation. Everything comes into the World Education Summit 2021 beyond pandemic. We hope we had made justice by making an appropriate speakers to that August gathering, which make them for a wonderful key takeaways. Wonderful, wonderful, superb. Thanks for your acceptance.
Thank you very much for this opportunity to share my knowledge and experiences.
Thank you so much, madam, for your time. We are receiving many appreciations in the chat box. To highlight them, we have received an appreciation from a madam called Blockbuster Performance Madam. So these are the comments like we are receiving for your presentation, madam. We are absolutely happy and honored to have you here. In this regard, now again, I would like to welcome Mr. Wordsworth Ayadurai, sir, CEO and founder of Salem Infotech from USA, to honor Madam. Can you please share the screen, sir?
Thank you, Anita. Thank you. Mr. Rania, so it's a great honor to have you on this forum, World Education Summit, and mind-blowing 74 STEM awards. That's unbelievable. It's mind-blowing, and excellent presentation and a lot of information. I know STEM is the thing to go with it, and along with that, you include a lot of other technologies, how to empower students and faculties and empower them digitally. Those things are very important, and you presented a great information with a lot of information, and it's like Dr. Babu mentioned. All these three events today happen. All are touching different area and highlight your STEM related presentation was great, and we thoroughly enjoyed. And we like to honor you and as part of EAVIT and as a Salem Infotech CEO, we are honoring your presentation. And we'd like to engage you more often and get your knowledge, get your support for all the institutions participated in this great event. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for your time. Thank you so much.
So this Dr. Rania from Greece.
We could organize 10 workshops there in India because I'm planning to go there. So we could organize this in a practical way.
Definitely.
You're most welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, madam. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Lakshmi Mohan, sir, to share a few words.
Well said, our sponsor, Professor Ayyadurai, Salem for CEO. And
Professor Mohan, your audio is slow. We can hear you.
second. Now okay, I think so. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Still
Yes,
a
sir.
little low.
Okay. Network connectivity, sir. Okay.
Yeah, now it's better.
I would like to thank Rania, man. Hats up to you. Wonderful presentation and more takeaways from your presentation. Definitely hope all participants enjoyed your session, all three sessions. Thanks for your patience, my dear participants, professors from various countries and Indian universities and colleges. Thank you, professors. And I would like to thank Dr. Sandeep sir, Vice Chancellor, Marwadi University, and Dr. Agnesh from EM Business School, Paris. It was a wonderful session. We have gained and learned great things from three eminent speakers. Thanks a lot to our speakers and delegates from various countries. I would like to thank our coordinator, Dr. Vijendra Babu, Vanitha, Karthikeyan, and President Sam for your wonderful coordination. I would like to thank our management for gave us this kind of program organization. We have organized plenty of programs. This day is wonderful day for us because we took more time. Today, 2.5 hour time is highest time. The participants made us feel very proud. Thanks for your patience, my dear participants. Thanks, Rania ma'am, once again. Heads up to you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rania. Wishing to collaborate with you in various occasions. We will get back to you very soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, Wordsworth sir, and we are expecting your panel discussions tomorrow with a more vibrant discussions tomorrow. Dear participants, tomorrow we are having Mr. Wordsworth Ayadurai and Dr. Ms. Anita and another global leader are having an hoisting us with a panel discussion relating to World Education Summit, educational tools and various aspects of education in current scenario. Sir, eagerly waiting for your panel discussion, sir. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Same here. We are also waiting. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Manita, madam, you can take it over.
Yes. Yes, sir. Thank you all. A special mention to the participants. Big thanks to all the one who have joined till the end of the session. Thanks much for your patience. And if feedback links is posted in the chat box, you can fill it up. And if you have any issues related to the event and other things, you may post over Telegram, and also the mail ID has been shared. It is industryacademia@avit.ac.in. You can post your queries there also. Even if you want to get a clarification from the expert speakers who have joined, we will try to connect with them and we will try to get the appropriate reply for the questions raised. So thanks so much for joining. We would like to join back by tomorrow at 5 o'clock to listen to another wonderful session, which will be grateful and useful to you. Thank you, sir. Thank you all. Thanks for joining. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Thank you all. Thank you all. Tomorrow we are having Professor Ramasamy, Vice Chancellor of OPJS University from Rajasthan, is going to address on skills. And next we are going to have a panel discussion by Wordsworth Ayadurai and Ms. Anita and another global personalities joining tomorrow. Thank you all. Fill the feedback forms. Thank you.